to our 22?
22
Adventurers Wanted! Yay! Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Hello, I'm Chris. I'll be your DM for the next hour and the 2 hours after that. Welcome to Adventurers Wanted Rebellion. This is our second Edinburgh show. We did one last year that was 250 hours straight through. This one is only 100, so I apologise in advance. You will be getting half the content in half the time, but there you go. We are telling an ongoing story, so you are coming in at the 22nd hour of the adventure that we are currently playing, and so on until the very end of the festival. So we'll have to catch up with the story a little bit, but you should be able to follow relatively quickly. Before we dive in too far, this is a relaxed performance. We do relaxed performances for the benefit of people who won't necessarily be able to be still or silent for an entire hour. That means that we have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience if you want to make noise or move around a bit. The lighting will stay exactly the same way as it is now, and there will be some background music, but no loud, sudden noises. If for any reason you need to take a break at any point during the hour, step through either of those two doors out into the foyer and then come back in whenever you're ready. The doors don't open directly. There is a key fob that certain people have. Just ask around look at people for sweet shirts, particularly the red ones. They'll be able to help you. If you need help in the room, our stage manager Nemo's in the back over there. Nemo's waving right now. If you need any support from them, just catch their eye or give them a wave and they will happily help you with anything you need. Lovely. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons for the next hour. Does everyone know what that is? Nods? Shakes? Oh, that one. No, we have someone. We have the uninitiated. Love it. We're telling a story. These four people to my left and right are characters in a universe, and I play the rest of said universe, and together we collaboratively tell a story about what's going on. To make sure I don't abuse my awesome dungeon mastering powers to change reality at the drop of a hat pin, we use dice to make sure that these guys get a fighting chance. We roll a 20-sided dice 9 times out of 10, and a 1 is awful, and a 20 is brilliant. So do cheer those 1s, and do cheer those 20s and boo those 1s. That's it. Right, here we go. Good, thank you. Let me catch you up with the story. We are in Deriland. Deriland is a small country that 5 years ago was destroyed is strong, attacked by an elder god, and the land was rent in twain. People were subjected and enslaved, and a cult left by said god has been in charge for the last 5 years. However, a small rebellion formed in the town of Holmwood, and these rebellious forces have worked together, found allies in dwarven barbarians, human sorcerers, and elven rangers, because we're ticking all those fantasy stereotype boxes. And together, they have taken the capital of Goldcrest and are now trying to assault the castle on the hill where the cult and their mysterious leader appear to be residing. At the end of the last hour, they had just managed to fight their way through some catacombs and tombs underneath the castle, through the old jail, and are now underneath the target, and are looking to make their way up and free Goldcrest from the cult. So, starting on my right, can we introduce the characters? Can you say your name, the name of your character, what pronouns you prefer, and give us a little bit about where they're at, who they are? Starting with you, Alex.
My name is Alex, and I am playing Arted de Lindor, or Arted to his begrudging friends. I'm an elf paladin of the moon, and he is not your typical paladin. He's not particularly faithful.
There we go. Jim.
I'm James, and I'm playing Mary, who is also known as Peacebringer because she sees the good in everyone. She's a tiefling paladin who goes by she, her.
Thank you.
And
he for art.
Yeah, if you're wondering what a tiefling is, it is a 6.5 foot tall, half human, half devil person.
More of a typical paladin, I think, there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Much.
I'm Naomi. I'm playing an elf bard called Roberta Risk, war journalist extraordinaire, previous academic. And my personal pronouns are she, her, and Roberta also goes by she, her.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Sure.
My name is Sean, and I'll be playing the dwarf barbarian, Tugger, but everybody calls me Tug. Tug.
I like this already. Good. And does Tug prefer he pronouns? He, him?
Tug prefers he pronouns. He prefers strong ale and lady favor bars.
Okay. I'm getting a sense of Tug.
Tug.
Because I didn't mention it earlier, and now it makes sense too, Sean has bought a player ticket. So Sean is playing with us for the first hour today.
Yes.
And I know nothing about how Sean plays or his knowledge of D&D, so this should be fun for everyone involved. You can buy player tickets as well as audience tickets for the same price at the box office
He owns
if
some
you're
of the
interested.
supplementary D&D documents, so I think we're okay.
And I
as
brought
well.
my own dice. So
He brought his own dice. We're good! Hey, good. Lovely. Right.
Fake and Sean.
Nemo, can I have some We're Under the Ground in an old chapel? It's all like we just dealt with some zombies music. Thank you. They're under the ground in an old chapel. They just dealt with some zombies.
I
That's
just
my
stabbed
narration.
a disembodied undead arm.
You did?
It was great.
Stabbed it. That was
I'm
good.
jealous.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll let you stab something.
So the three of you, plus your lizard folk guide, Gashik, have made your way under the castle through the old catacombs and are now in an old church that appears to be relatively abandoned underneath the castle. As Arted checked with a decent investigation roll earlier, it looks like this chapel is of little use to the cult, so they have largely ignored it for the past 5 years. Tug, we'll get to where you are.
I'm patient.
Good.
All right.
What would the three of you like to do? Oh, that's lovely, Nemo. Turn it up a little bit.
Arted would like, having kept an eye on Gashik, who I do not trust,
Very sensibly.
would like to sidle up to the rogue, who I believe was listening through the door.
Yeah.
And whisper.
They are currently at the door to this. It's not a chapel, it's not large enough for that. It has more of a sense of an underground crypt or burial chamber. But you closed off, by smashing it, the door to the bit with all the undead. So you are now in an open, wide space that looks like it was used for ceremony more than anything else. And the door is quite large, about 10 foot wide. 2 doors either side, quite ceremonial looking. And Gashik is listening at said door.
I'm going to say, so whisper gently,
Mhm.
what do you expect beyond the door?
Well, I've never actually been this far, so I couldn't tell you too much about it. I know this is underneath the castle, but beyond that, this is just something I was told about.
So from here on out, we are flying blind.
Oh, that's a way of putting it.
So you're useless to us now.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I have a variety of useful skills, and I
They
can...
move very quickly, they're very stealthy, they could scout out ahead for us, that would be quite useful.
These are all things I can do, although I don't like putting myself in harm's way.
Ah, so very useful then. Good to know.
It appears there's no one outside the door, so as long as we're all cautious, we should be able to find our way in.
Okay.
Is Kitten Matt still with us? Just a bit.
Kidmat, the character who was here in the last hour and is now no longer here and therefore can't take part in the adventure, is going to wait down here to make sure no more undead come through the smashed wall.
You know what,
Hang on,
that's
hang on,
really
hang on,
nice of
hang on.
Kidnap.
I'll do his voice, hang on. Oh, well, I'll just wait here for you guys and make sure no more undead come through.
Voice.
Very good. Good man.
Somewhat Minnesotan, there we go.
That sounded more like a Muppet.
But I am a Muppet. No, it's fine. Am I a furball? No.
That's definitely copyright.
I know.
Well, if you can't hear anything, then let's press on, shall we, and free the castle.
Splendid. What is the marching order?
I feel like Gashik and I should go first as the naturally stealthiest of the group.
Very fair.
And sensible.
And are the two paladins going to wait and follow behind at a sensible distance, or are you going to go with the group? What's your plan of attack?
I'm happy to take the rear.
Take the rear.
Yeah.
Mary?
I'll go between the two.
Lovely. Okay.
So I would be maybe 5 feet behind.
Okay, no problem. So you are all making your way together, but separated out a little. Can we all have stealth checks, please?
Critical success.
Hey.
Wow.
There it is.
You are a paladin and you are wearing heavy armor, correct?
A much more reasonable.
What did you roll?
9 plus 1.
9 plus 1, 10. Lovely. Arted?
I rolled 17. Chainmail is heavy armor.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, yes. Disadvantage means you roll twice and take the lower number.
So instead of 17, 2.
2 plus something, surely.
As the armor
Plus
goes ching ching ching.
0.
Oh my god, okay, good.
Chains!
So I'm good friends with another elf, an elf rogue called Telemachus.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 22. So
Good.
I, like Telemachus, I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm a fucking ghost, let's go.
Telemarcus likes to narrate their sneaking. Gashik is also sneaking relatively well. Not as well as he could do, because he rolled a 5, but he has got a massive bonus to it, so you are all not being particularly stealthy, I'll be honest with you. The door is opened. And you're in a corridor. This corridor stretches to your left and right. It is largely stone, about 10 foot wide, about 20 foot high. And there are various doors in said corridor. And at either end of the corridor, you can just about see in dim torchlight that there are stairs going up either side. What would you like to do?
I would like to turn to Roberta and say, "You're the smart one. Why are we here?"
That's unfortunate. We're trying to get into a castle, which is above us.
We're in the ground levels of a castle. If we try and clear the castle of the cult, or maybe find a way of letting people into a very heavily fortified building.
So is the plan kill everything or kill the biggest thing?
Well, we've not heard their side of the story yet.
They're cultists, they enslaved us for 5 years.
I would advise killing everything quietly as possible.
We've
Yes.
been hearing their story for 5 years. I'm bored of it.
Well, you might be, but I like to hear about other people's.
Look,
Which way should we go?
if a cultist turns to surrender and offers us up information, then we will keep them alive. That's fine.
Excellent, that's all I
We should, Gashik, I think you and I should take a staircase each and just sort of.
You want to split the party, do you?
Oh, that's a bad idea. No, which.
I will say with a voice of some understanding that that's a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah, you're right, Gashik. Gashik.
DM.
Yes.
How long has it been since we entered into the catacombs?
The far end where you ran through all of the undead, or the chapel area where we just...
When we left the prison cells. And
Oh, I see. About 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, you're no longer protected.
Good to know.
We cast a spell on her earlier, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Should we be checking out these doors, seeing what's inside them?
Yeah, let's move together. Maybe the paladins just stay down here and we'll signal you if we need you while we carry on stealthing.
Okay.
Right you are, Missy.
Look for a drawbridge.
The two of you... Do you go left or right down the corridor?
Left.
Cool. You walk left down the corridor. There are 2 doors in front of you on your way. And then behind that, if you continue down the corridor, are some stairs going up. What would you like to do? Kashika's following your lead, Roberta.
That looks promising. How far away am I from these guys again? How long was the corridor?
They're about 10 feet behind you now.
Okay. There's some stairs going up. We should maybe try this way.
Do you not want to check out the doors?
Yeah, sure.
Want to have a listen?
Yeah.
Roll a perception
let's see
check.
the doors. Ooh. That's a modified 20.
Ooh. The first door that you listen in on, you can't hear a huge amount from behind it. You don't hear any movement or rustling, but as you lean against the door does push in slightly. It's not locked.
Okay, I'd like to try and slip through, just like look around the door, like a
Okay.
cartoony peer.
You Brady bunch your head around the door and
Yep.
peek in. You're an elf, you can see in the dark.
Yes. got
Cool.
that vision.
This room is not lit.
Okay.
However, in your dark vision, you see a pile in front of you. You roll a perception check for me.
Oh, that's good. 12.
12. It's enough. It's a pile of the ore that you have been mining. As you look, your dark vision has 60 feet range.
Yeah.
You can see 60 feet back that this pile of ore continues back quite far in what looks like an old wine cellar. And it appears to go back a long, long way. This ore they've been mining, just so you're all aware, if magic is cast near it, it explodes.
I have my equipment with me from that I had before, right?
Yes, you have everything
So I
with you.
have my explorer's pack with torches and a tinderbox in it.
Yes.
Great. I would like to light a torch, please. Not in the room. Not in the room, and not near the ore.
You light a torch. Very well. Light a torch.
I do know that magic has to charge it, so hopefully.
Yeah. Flame also does bad things to it, but you know.
I'll light it outside the room and then I'll stick it back in.
Okay, you look in the door, Gashika's looking in.
What is this stuff? See it everywhere now.
And I point to the scar on my arm and go, well, it can do that. And there's like a big disfigured, like bubbled, like burn like on her arm.
Aye, that looks nasty.
Normally it's magic has to charge it, and then you can tap it and it will explode.
Well, let's put this down as option B.
Yeah. It's a good option B. One I'd like to not use.
Right then, should we check the other door?
Yeah. And I want to...
I don't know, love.
No, yeah, I think I took cards. I didn't take anything, so...
What are you looking for?
I forgot. Oh, I was looking for a tool so I could leave like a little mark that's going to last longer than an hour there, because prestidigitation only lasts an hour.
You could, you have a rapier, you could mark the door.
Oh
It's
yeah,
made
I
of wood.
could, yeah. It's wooden. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take my dagger then and I'll carve across into the door.
Okay, I'll cross into the door, lovely. The next door is on this door's left.
Okay.
You're listening on it?
Yeah.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, not as good. That is the 11.
An 11.
Yeah.
You hear some movement inside, but you can't make out how many or what.
Okay, and I'll go, right, there's multiple things in here, but I don't know what they are.
Gashik leans in as well.
No, there's definitely people, but I don't know how many or what they are.
What do you think? Should we try and see him without being detected, or...?
I suppose it's a good option. Do you have any magic that can help with this?
Not really. I don't.
Ah, spellcasters, you're so useful all the time.
Like, I'm a bard. I write things down. No, I don't have anything.
If you'd like me to sneak in, I'd be happy to have a look around.
Yes, if you could, that'd be great.
It's a natural 20.
Fades from space and time entirely.
Well, plus his modifier, I think he goes back in time. They open the door and sidle in. Tug, you've been imprisoned for about a week now.
Great.
You're in a jail cell. There's a variety of other jail cells. These are mostly empty by now. Most of the prisoners have been taken away, you don't know where. And you appear to be the last one in here, and there have been a couple of these cultists guarding you, watching. Over the last hour, maybe two, what was normally them being incredibly bored and not quite sure what to do apart from probably throw insults at you, probably to do with your height more than anything else, they have suddenly had people come in, hushed conversations, and they appear to be much more on edge than they were. There's now 3 of them in this room. What would you like to do? Your hands are bound, your items are elsewhere in this room.
May I get a perception check to find out exactly what they've been talking about lately? To get an idea of
Yes,
what's going
please
on?
do. That's fine by me.
7.
7. They've been talking in very hushed tones. What you've got is that they are worried. There's a certain amount of almost panic in their voices when they talk, but that's all you can get. The actual words have eluded you.
Speak up, I can't hear you. What are you talking
Shut up!
about? You shut up!
Bang!
Ow!
They are fretting about, not quite sure what to do. They move. They realise you're listening in, and they move a bit further down. It's quite a long room. It's an old wine cellar that's been turned into a jail. All of the other cells are empty. They move down to move away from you, and they're trying to obviously talk a bit more so you can't listen in. As they move down, next to your jail cell, out of the darkness, comes a voice.
You be looking for some help there, lad?
That better not be the voices in my head again.
No.
And a lizardy hand crafts one of the bars, and a face appears in the half-light, and it's a lizard folk.
That's new and exciting. Yes, get me out of here.
Before we do, what can you offer me in return?
Heads. As many as you can carry in the biggest bag you can find.
Well, that sounds mighty useful. All right, then. Just not mine.
Now you're making provisos. Just get me out of the cell.
Promise not mine.
The more questions you ask, the less I want your head on your shoulders. Okay, but go.
All right, fine.
He comes around the front and starts trying to pick the lock on your cell, which he does remarkably quickly. Your cell is opened, and he comes in and unties you.
Oh, thank you.
Right, where's your stuff?
Somewhere.
It's down the far end, behind where the cultists are.
That way, behind Idiot 1 and Idiot 2. You
And-
seem a sneaky type.
And Idiot 3.
I don't like him enough to recognize his
I have some allies outside. Maybe they could be of assistance.
Are they sneaky?
No.
They have ale.
No. 2 are quite pious.
Put me back in the cage.
I will go and try and retrieve you some allies. In the meantime, maybe close the door again and pretend you're still tied up.
Gladly.
He closes the door. You are not tied up. You can easily
Put my
fake
hand
it.
behind the back.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem,
cool.
just make sure.
And Gashik sneaks out again, keeping the same stealth roll. The door opens. He comes out again.
Right, there may be an ally in there that could be of some use, but there are some cultists as well. Maybe get the big ones in.
So we kill the cultists, free the guy who's imprisoned there.
Seems like a plan.
You two okay with that? Because that's a lot of you guys doing stuff.
They are 10 feet away down the corridor. Do you say that loudly?
No, I'll beckon them over and then
There we
whisper
go.
into him.
Make stealth checks.
Could I have been preparing myself?
No.
So that is a 12.
12, lovely.
14.
14, brilliant. With only the slightest ching, 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 ching of their chainmail, the 2 paladins come over to your door.
There's loads there. Right.
There's an ally inside. Looks like a dwarf.
I love dwarves. There's this one I know that seems to want to blow everything up all the time.
Right.
Tyler Curran. He's not here today.
I would suggest there are 3 cultists in there. Do you want to go in there and make a mess of things?
How far away from the door are they?
Well, it's a jail, so there's cells all the way down, but they were about 50 feet away when they walked in.
Should we give them a chance to surrender? Perhaps they know things about the castle.
Listen, I can make people tell the truth. So if you want to keep one alive,
Let's keep one alive and kill the other 2.
If you want to storm in and attack straight away, I will give you a surprise round.
Awesome. Let's do that.
what if they hear us up there?
You're right. Let's leave the dwarf.
Thank you for letting me play.
No,
She said it.
we are freeing the dwarf because the dwarves are our allies, and if they've got a dwarf, we're getting the dwarf.
True enough.
Gashik, is there anything else of interest in this room other than the small man?
There didn't seem to be. It looked like the other cells had all been abandoned.
So it is just a case of getting the small person out and maybe some fun if we want it.
I mean, that seems like a very strange way of putting it, but
Seems like fun if we want it.
God, that voice is really coming with me.
I'm a fan of getting one of the cultists as hostage, and
if you don't want to run in and attack people, I could always get one of them from behind.
yeah, I've got a spell that I can do.
If you'd prefer.
We can try and do that. I get one of them with a spell, you get another one. Sneaky.
I have a crossbow.
How about
That's very good to know now.
This is why I asked how far away they are.
They're within range for you, absolutely.
Do you think you could sneak round behind them, cause a distraction, so that we barge in from the other side and then just take them?
I think mechanically that doesn't make any difference to the rules of this game, but sure, I could.
Flavor. I like it.
We could do it for flavor if you like. That's totally fine. Very happy to.
I think the best plan is you sneak in and kill one.
Right.
Me and Arted try and get another one, and then we keep one alive, try and hold him hostage, find out about the layout of the castle.
I'll deal with it. I have my base.
Wasn't creepy at all. Right,
Right, he's going to try and sneak in again.
Look at us. Planning.
Yes, we don't do it usually, do we?
Wow, okay. Despite the guards being exceptionally perceptive for some reason or another, because good dice rolls, again, Gashik seems to vanish from sight. Another 19 on the dice. And goes into the room. You don't see this, because your perception check would have no way of hitting this.
No.
As you wait in your cell, the 3 guards are still talking at the far end of the corridor, and you can't hear what they're saying.
And there has been no movement from the door of the other door in the room.
Oh. You never even see it open and close because that stealth roll was way too high.
I'm starting to think I've been abandoned.
You are.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's very fair. However, as you start to think this, one of the guards suddenly starts to choke up and just sort of falls forward and collapses face first on the ground. The other two... Huh?
Do we hear this?
You do. The other two look around with some confusion as the door is kicked open, I presume?
No, it's not, because I was going to cast a spell. We established this.
Okay, what do you want to do?
One of the other cultists.
Yeah, you'd have to be able to see them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will.
So you open the door.
Well, actually, if I know where they are, I've been told, I don't actually have to see them for this spell. I want to cast Dissonant Whispers. Target that can hear you within range, 60 feet.
You're right, target the confusion. Absolutely fine. How do you get a whisper through a door?
I will sneak around the door, which I will happily roll for.
You don't need to, they're already confused. Just jump in, use a surprise round.
Yeah, sure. So I'll jump in and I will a whisper that only one of them can hear go, "Your god's gone, it's abandoned you. Why are you still carrying this on?"
Test of faith, alright.
I rolled an 11 on my wisdom saving
My
throw.
spell save DC, the roll he had to make was 14.
So roll the damage on that.
Yeah.
Well done.
That is 10 damage, 10 psychic damage.
10 psychic damage. One of the cultists... Can we get some battle music, please, Nemo? One of the cultists stumbles back, holding their head, blood streaming from their eyes and nose. They are clearly very badly affected by this, but are not down.
It's fair.
Arte, there is a surprise round in action. I'm allowing you to dive in and use your crossbow if you so
The door
choose.
is open.
The door is slightly ajar.
Slightly ajar.
And if you want to move past me, I won't contest
So-
it.
You could kick it open.
Arthur is just going to drop his maul very quickly next to him.
Yep.
Pull out the crossbow.
Yep.
And through the door.
So you push the door a bit, you look, you see the cultist is bleeding, and you fire at them.
At the bleeding cultist.
Go for it. Make an attack roll.
This is about 50 feet away, yeah?
It's about 50 feet, yeah.
That's 4.
Would you roll?
I rolled a 2.
A 2. Nope. Crossbow bolt goes flying up into the ceiling and you don't hit, but you have kicked the door open now. So Mary, on the surprise round, what would you like to do?
Yes, I would like to charge in
Yep.
and
They're 50 feet away. What would you like to do?
I would like to throw a javelin. One of them.
Underground! Are you throwing at the one that's already bleeding profusely?
The one that's bleeding first.
Lovely. Make an attack roll, please. Does it beat a 13? The javelin also cling, 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 bounces off some of the jail cell bars as both the paladins run in and miss completely.
Those were your warning shots. Surrender now to us, and we will let you live.
Roll intimidation check.
Yeah! I ate it.
Yeah, with advantage. Fine! Fine! I always enjoy the help action being, yeah!
Right.
18!
Yes.
There it is.
Very good. Lovely. It's a surprise round. You are not surprised by this because you see what's coming. What would you like to do?
I would like to break out of that bar so I can get down there and hurt somebody, please.
50 feet. What is your speed?
My feet is only 25. I'm a hustle as a javelin brushes past my head.
50 feet you could make with a dash
Sure, I
action,
could dash action.
and you
Yes.
could bonus action enter your rage if you so chose to.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Okay, the door gets kicked down as the tiny dwarf comes running out. What do you look like?
Oh, just all hair. Just hair. Top to toe. Like, every bit of hair in me is at least 6 to 7 inches long. Just
Oh.
get in there. And I smell great. That's not a dwarf? I'm that sort of dwarf.
I know this is not the tone you're going for, but I'm just imagining an Ewok. I'm really sorry.
Can we go with slightly bigger, angrier Ewok?
We can. Why not?
There we go.
I'm amiable.
Lovely. A gigantic angry Ewok bellowing horribly, and when you enter your rage, you are a totem of the bear barbarian, so you're resistant to basically any kind of damage at this point. Great. Just starts barreling down the corridor towards these cultists who are looking pretty shocked and pretty intimidated as well, I will say. Cool. Can we roll initiative, please? Oh, God. The cultists are going last.
No, they're not.
I rolled a 2. Are you sure?
I rolled a 2.
Ah, what's your
Plus-
dex
plus
mod?
one, so if you-
You're going off the Lovely.
A 7.
7. What do you get? Good grief, everybody.
It's alright.
We were surprised.
I'm bringing you 16.
Oh, there we go. There's
Real initiative.
Yes.
There's an initiative roll I can actually work with. Tug, you get the drop on all of them. You are so fast and so angry. You are barreling headfirst towards 2 cultists. What would you like to do?
Well, the one that has been hit that is bleeding at this point, as
Yep.
I recall. Smell of blood sounds great. Let's go for him. I'm
Yep.
going to grapple, hands around the neck, and try to get him on the ground.
Okay, make a grapple check for me.
Rolled a natural 18 on that.
Well, the cultist rolled a 2.
Let's see here. 20.
You have athletics on your skill sheet.
Oh, that's right.
Athletics is +6, so that's 24.
Uh-huh. The answer's uh-huh.
If you will allow me to narrate this moment for you, you leap onto this cultist and just take him down to the ground and are currently bashing his head against the ground while throttling. Can you roll me an unarmed strike?
Absolutely.
Thank
That's a
you.
D4 damage.
You're just a barbarian, so I think it is literally just your strength mod +1.
Yay, so that's
Still
fine.
like
5.
Big five.
Come on! 2, 3, 4, 5!
Would he get the +2 because of the range as well?
He would.
Should, so
7.
it's 7.
Thank you. Just smashing this
Sorry.
cultist's
I play
head against the
barbarian
floor.
Don't apologize, I love it.
The other cultist just looking on with horror and somewhat intimidated. That seems to have worked very well for everyone. As the cultist looks on in utter horror, somewhat intimidated, a sword glints behind him, is placed against his neck, and a voice behind him just goes,
I think you might want to surrender now there.
I knew I liked this chap.
Roberta, what would you like to do? There is one cultist on the floor having their head slowly staved in.
You know what?
The other one appears to have been held back.
You know what? I think Tug's got this. So what I'm going to do is say to Kashyyyk, hold him there. I'm going to try and find the rope that Tug was tied up with before, and tie it.
There's manacles.
Oh yeah, his manacles. Cool. I'm going to put the manacles on the cultist.
The one that Kashyyyk's got.
Yeah.
It's 50 feet away, so you'd have to dash to get round. But I'll say you can get around Tug's horrible, bloody mess on the floor pretty quickly by doing so.
Like, listen, he's been imprisoned by these people.
Yeah.
He deserves to just pummel one of them.
Totally.
Need a little.
Do you two want to take any actions at this point? It feels like it's kind of tied up.
I'm gonna pick my ball back up.
That is well remembered.
I'm gonna grab my javelin.
Great,
And,
okay.
Use my action to be impressed by
Lovely.
the barbarian.
I think we can go out of combat music. That was very quick. Good. Tug, I will give you this.
Oh, good.
The cultist is at this point basically just on the ground and doesn't really have anything they can do because they're grappled by you and you're smashing into them.
Yeah.
Please tell me what you'd like to do to the cultist.
Well, these are the cultists that have had me in the cage for quite a while.
Yeah, about a week.
I'm going to continue smashing because I'm enraged and it's fun.
Is it still the head against the ground?
Um,
Do you keep going until there's no head?
I'll move down to kind of make it worse to the lapels and just I want that nice thudding dull slop to kind of hit. And that's what I'm going for.
There is a thudding, dull, wet slap.
I just go. Ugh. Ugh.
I do the same.
The cultist who was left behind still has the sword held and is just watching this unfurl with ever increasing horror. What would you like to do?
I would like to walk up to the one who is being held,
Mhm.
the manacles, and I would like to get him right up in his grip.
Yep.
And I would like to say, tell me everything you know about this castle. Where is everyone? Maybe you will live.
As he says that, I would like to cast Zone of Truth, please.
All right.
You will not live.
Oh, we all need to roll for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can we
you
all roll for Zone of Truth, please?
Apart from you, because I think you're actually out of range of it. Is he 15 foot away?
Was
No, this is all happening in the same
Alright,
area.
cool, yeah,
You
yeah.
are now just mulching a body into the ground. You can stop anytime you like.
All right.
Can everyone please roll a wisdom saving throw? Does it beat a 14?
14.
Beat a 14?
21.
No, you do.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. I came over. Yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
18.
Okay, you two do not need to tell the truth, and you're aware that you have avoided it, and you're aware they've avoided it. We need to tell the truth.
So
As
just as I get to the end of,
does
maybe
Kashyyyk.
you will live.
But he's aware.
I say maybe you will not live.
Don't you need to roll as well?
No, it's her spell.
It's my spell.
The
I can
cultist,
lie all I want.
the cultist sort of shivering. Roll the intimidation check on top of that, thank you.
Can I assist?
That's no need.
24.
24.
Yes.
What do you want to know? I'll tell you everything as long as I survive.
How do we get into the castle?
It's up the stairs.
Up the stairs, lovely. Which stairs?
It doesn't matter. Either side enters the courtyard. The courtyard's full of people right now. Everyone escaped back after the fight, and every single surviving person is in the courtyard or in the keep.
Alright, if I wanted to get a signal out of the castle, what's my best way to move through the courtyard undetected?
I don't know. A disguise, invisibility. I mean, anything you can do to not be seen. How not to be seen?
And how many cultists? How many of you would you think there are?
In the courtyard at the moment, probably a couple hundred. As it stands inside the keep, I don't know who's left, but I know the lady's still in there. Lady
Bezoth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about the ore. Why were you having us mine it for 5 years?
I don't know. We were told to collect it and then take it back to the lady, who then takes it away. It is of great use for teleportation. It has other magical properties. I believe it is something that we are using to try to recontact our god.
Where's my crap?
It's behind me.
Not for long. Where can I get a drink?
There are casks of ale in the door, two to the right.
Two to the right, to the right, to the right. As I start getting my kid up, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right.
Where's the nearest cache of ore? Because she's not told us.
Next door.
Oh, I've put an X on the door, don't worry, we found that.
We have kept as much as we possibly can here. To gate it out takes some effort and some magic, so we do it in small doses.
Where is your god?
We don't know. He disappeared 5 years ago, at which point the lady told us that she had it all in hand and we started mining the ore. This is what's been happening for the past 5 years. I am just a lowly cultist. I don't know anything. Apart from everything I just told you, which is clearly very useful.
Are there any more caches of ore in the castle?
I believe there are a couple others in the other underground crypts that are around the edge of the courtyard. There's probably some in the keep as well, but honestly, I don't know a huge amount. I only joined the cult because I was worried, and now I'm really scared. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I understand with my life. If you don't stop talking, I will kill you. Oh, I shouldn't have said it out loud.
Get shake.
Sorry, I don't have much choice. It was your spell.
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of this kind of magic.
Well, it's helpful.
But I can choose to stop talking.
You can, so shush. Listen. Level with me. Get right into the cultist's face. What is happening to people who spend too much time around this ore?
What are you talking about?
Is anything bad happening to people for being in too much contact with the ore?
I've not seen anything in particular happen, but I hear rumours. People say the ore is twists and perverts and damages your body. I think that's where the grue came from. I don't know.
Okay.
What's your name, child?
Ted.
Ted.
Teddy, Ted.
Do you remember your mother, Ted?
My mom's still alive.
Where's your mother now?
I don't know. The cult said they look after her. Like, if you join the cult, then they look after your family and they don't enslave you. That was the deal.
Very well. If you tell anyone what you've just told us, I will find your mother and kill her in front of you. Do you understand?
Yep.
Excellent.
What's the worst thing you did while you were part of this cult, Ted?
I mean, we kept this one in a prison. I'm normally a prison guard. I did some horrible ritual stuff that I won't go into too much, but wasn't very pleasant.
No, let's go into the ritual stuff a little bit. What's the ritual?
I mean, it's really not. It's not for public consumption. It's really, really embarrassing.
Look, this is getting really weird, even for me.
I didn't kill anyone, if that's what you're asking. Never killed anyone. Just a kid.
And if we said to you,
As you should.
If we said to you, Ted, hey Ted, listen, we've killed your friends and that wasn't cool of us really, but had to do it to free Tug here. And we said, hey, if you were going to join a rebellion to overthrow the cult, would you betray us if we allowed you to do that?
No.
Wow. Let's bring him with
He's in a zone of truth.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to know what you just rolled for, but that's fine.
Well, I rolled a nat 20,
Yeah.
but he's in a zone of truth.
He is in his own truth.
Make your own decisions about that, Nay.
If I could add anything to these new people that are here, why don't we just manacle them, throw them in the cage, and then 2 doors down to the left?
I'm surprised you're not already there, Tug.
I was waiting to see if I could hurt this guy too.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
We have him manacled. Our friend is holding the fort. We just leave him. With Kidman.
Sure. But if he is going to be, like, I don't know.
Well, we tell Kidman,
meta.
this guy is dodgy, don't trust him.
Yeah.
Just, sit on him if he's a problem.
Yeah. He looks pretty weak, like,
Yeah.
I'm not that weak. Okay.
Can you tell us where there might be a cloakroom or something that we can get one of those nice robes so we can disguise ourselves as we...
I mean,
I've got a bloody one here if you'd like it.
there are two. One is obviously a little more marred than the other, but you could certainly use either of them if you wish to.
He is wrong. There are 3.
Yes, there are.
Please don't take my clothes. I don't want you to.
We're not leaving him without clothes on. No. No.
Oh, this is where we draw the line. A little bit of penis.
I'm wearing undergarments. It's just cold.
You will be plenty warm when you are underneath Kidmat sat on you. He is a big guy.
I guess if that's what you want.
Robe.
Takes his robe off. He's wearing sort of loose undergarments.
Who gets the bloody one?
I prestidigitation the blood off the off the thing and go, look, they don't have dwarves. That, like, we're gonna have to pretend you're a prisoner still, mate. I'm sorry.
And we're bringing you to the lady.
Yes.
For-
No, we're not doing that.
Why?
Mainly because we need to get a signal out to the castle so everyone can help us storm it.
Might there be a bell at the top of the castle?
No, why would there be?
I don't know.
No, there isn't. No.
I've
It's not a church. It's a castle.
Listen, I spoke to Simon before we got here. I agreed to signal with him.
Lovely.
Sure.
Do you, for time and brevity, do you wish to take Ted back to Kidmat so that he is out, give Tug all of his items back so he can join in the fight, and then want to head up into the courtyard?
Yeah, in the robes.
In the
Us
robes.
3 in the robes, I think.
Lovely.
Oh no, you're a tiefling though.
And we
They aren't all just humans.
horns.
They aren't all humanoids.
We have to go through the courtyard
To get to the keep.
Anywhere else.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So let's disguise ourselves.
Well, as we close on this Our Adventurers Wanted, you all make your way into the courtyard, leaving Ted with Kidmat, and as you step up, in front of you is a wide open castle courtyard with a keep behind it. And Ted was not lying. The courtyard is full of these horrible groom monsters the cult have with them, and cultists all looking very worried, very concerned, and not quite sure what to do. But standing at the base of the keep on a slightly raised platform is a woman in spiky armour. It's very large armour. They're a good 100 feet away from you. And as you all watch, she steps forward, a voice echoing from a face seemingly hidden behind a skull faceplate. Peace. Soon we will fight back. And that's where we end this hour of Adventurers Wanted. Thank you ever so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Let me tell you a bit about what you can do to join us more. Yeah, that's right. It's like a cult. You can always buy more tickets to come watch the show. They are available from the Sweet Box office, which you walked past when you walked in here, or on the Sweet website, or on the Ed Fringe website. They're £5 to watch. Also £5 to play if you fancy, like Sean getting involved and playing an hour with us. No experience is fine. We can easily walk you through how the game works. If you can't be here in person because it's a huge festival and there's loads of other shows, that's cool. You can watch online at twitch.tv. We have a webcam set up and we stream the entire game throughout the month. And it also goes on YouTube a couple of days after the fact, so you can always catch up if you want to as well. Those of you that watch Critical Role are used to this. If you can't do either of those things for whatever reason, no problem. Nemo, our stage manager, and Nate, when she's not playing, keep a accurate Twitter record of everything that happens in the game. Not as detailed as watching it live, but you can follow the story on Twitter daily and keep up with everything.
And you do get the bonus of gifts.
And you get the bonus of gifts, and who doesn't love a meme? So, that process is all there. That's at Adventurers250 on Twitter and Adventurers Wanted on Twitch. We also have Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, and other stuff I'm too old to know about. So if you guys fancy joining in there and getting involved there, please do. We love a share. We love a retweet. What's Instagram called?
You comment and you like things.
Yeah, comment and you like things. There we go.
I run the Instagram.
I'm down with the kids, I know. If all of that sounds good to you, but you want to be a bit more committed to helping bring role-playing to the masses, we have a Patreon account as well, where you can patronise us, that is the correct word, and in doing so, help us do what we do on a wider scale. We do live shows in London, we do interactive how to role-play days. We're talking about doing more work with using roleplay to expand your public speaking ability and get out there in the world a bit more. So we're trying to find more ways to use this. If that sounds of interest to you, please do join in there. We have rewards starting at just $5. So if that's of interest, do jump in on that. Lost my sheet of paper. There we go. However, that's everything from us. We have a 10-minute turnaround, so just before we go, and in the last 5 minutes of the show, I'd like to give our cast today, who did a fantastic job, a chance to pitch anything else they're working on or with at the Fringe. Sean?
Nothing, just hi, Slippery Rock University. It's who we brought kind of with us. We're just here to see the Fringe and enjoy it, so thank you for having me.
Lovely. No, thank you for coming.
I'll be back.
Grand.
I'll be back.
You're awesome.
Good.
Oh, great. I run a Tumblr. Another thing Chris doesn't understand, called D&D Plans. I've just started it, so it's a little bit quiet at the moment because I'm working on the show, but I share like what I'm planning to do in my homebrew campaign, and I'd love it if people came and shared what they're doing in their homebrew campaign and create like a little community of constructive criticism and help and feedback and cheering people on with that. So yeah,
Splendid.
If you're interested, give it a follow.
Thanks, mate. Alex?
I'm up here producing 5 shows. There are, what time is it? So go and see at Pleasance Courtyard, Pleasance 2, a show called Sirens by a company called Zuko. It's what happens if three sirens are washed up in modern day Hastings, and their attempt to retell the narrative of the story around the sirens. It's great fun.
Top recommendation from me as well. I know the company, they're great.
That sounds awesome.
Jim?
I work here at Sweet Venues at the Fringe. We have a bunch of great shows, so do grab a program from the front desk on your way out. Also, I am DMing at Tabletop Scotland the first weekend of September, 1st and 2nd, and if you like role-playing games, not just D&D, but all sorts, there's
tons of others, yeah.
There's literally hundreds. They're all on the back of the flyer. Please come along.
There we go. Any Scottish people who can get to Perth for the 1st and 2nd, that's probably for you. Thank you ever so much, guys. Really pleasure to have you here, and I do hope you can join us again at some point over the festival. Have a pleasant day. Cheers.